Hi everyone. This video is to prepare you before you go to revision phase. Maybe we can do some preparation for us to have a smooth transition from the syllabus phase to revision phase. So now we have gone through all the syllabus. So what to do now? You might have a question. Do I need to go into the real exam questions, which is so long, right after the syllabus phase? So maybe we can have a look at these are some of the things that you can do in order to prepare yourself. So if you have question about this, like which chapter should I focus, which topic should I focus, how to study the syllabus. Now only you are thinking that you want to study all the syllabus and things like this. My advice to you is I don't think you have the time to go through all SBL syllabus anymore, because you are supposed to follow through the syllabus when we are in our lessons every week. You're supposed to do so. But if you miss out and things like this, you got to catch up, of course. But if let's say you really you really have majority of the syllabus which you have missed out and things like this, and you cannot avoid and you cannot delay your exam session. It means you cannot avoid to take the exam section because of some restriction perhaps. You have to take the coming session, which is what we have planned. If this is the case, then I personally think you have no time to go through all the syllabus anymore. And even though you go through all the syllabus, like some students, you like to study using memorization. You memorize all the syllabus, it is not going to help you much in the exam as well, right? So what are you supposed to do? My advice is you're supposed to focus on the topic that you are not familiar. Now, most of the students, I believe that you have gone through the fundamental studies. Like maybe you have gone through some fundamental studies on ACCA fundamentals paper, or you will have your own degrees courses, right? You have gone through your diploma or degree courses and things like this. Then only you top up, your SCCA qualifications. So then only you take the 4 subjects, which is one of it is SBL. So if this is the case, you already have the fundamental, hopefully, right? Hopefully that you have gone through the lessons seriously before you actually engage into ACCA tuition classes. So if this is the case, if you have the fundamentals, what you need to do is just to record. So my advice is to focus on the topic that you are not familiar. Like for example, I'm not good in corporate governance. So I only focus on the topic about corporate governance. Perhaps I go and study the additional articles that my tutor has given to me, or I go and study the technical articles published in ACCA that is related to corporate governance. Right, so you only focus on the topic that you are not familiar, because you basically have not much time for you to study all over again, study the whole syllabus again, right? So when you are doing this study, right, when you're doing this study, don't focus on putting everything into your mind, right? Don't put every single sentence or every single words to your mind. This is not what you're supposed to focus on. You're supposed to focus on reading the concept. It means you read the concept and you understand the concept. You understand what corporate governance is. You understand why do we need corporate governance. You understand what corporate governance can do for the society, for the company and things like this. So you focus on the concept of the topic. You focus on what is the rationale for ACCA to introduce that topic to you, and what that topic can help you in managing a business. So you focus on the concept rather than putting every single words into your mind, right? Because the most important thing is to understand the concept so that you can apply the concept in answering your questions. Because your question is not going to be the same. Every sitting, the questions will be different. So you are not going to apply the same sets of answer to another sitting. Definitely it's not going to happen. So there's no point you go and memorize the whole thing, right? Do not memorize. You memorize the whole thing, you're not going to use the whole thing after all. You're going to use only the concept, only the knowledge. So when you study, focus on understanding it. Focus on why do you need to know that, and how would it help you to manage your business. That's the most important thing, right? So what else you can do? If let's say you are okay with syllabus, okay, I'm very fine with syllabus because I've gone through the classes every week. So if you are okay with syllabus, then what is the next thing you need to do? Is the answering technique, because this is the main thing that we are going to do in the exam, right? This is the main thing that we are going to focus in our exam. If we don't have answering techniques, then basically we cannot do our exam, right? So we got to focus on it. But how? Here, my recommended study plan to you is you go through the additional videos that I posted to you with a few study stages, right? You can break it into stages. The first stage is you go through your first and or second videos. You can go through 2 videos, it's okay. If let's say this is the first time you go through, then you can take it slowly, right? You can take it slowly. You go through the video and follow the video through thoroughly, and you take your practice kit or whatsoever materials that you have and go through together with the video as if your tutor is actually guiding you, right? As if your tutor is guiding you. So you understand it thoroughly. No need to time yourself, no need to be rushed. Take your time to go through. But the most important thing is you make sure you understand the whole thing. Then if you are familiar with the first and second video already, okay already, then we can proceed to the next stage, whereby you try to read the requirement and the passage with your own effort first. It means you don't view the video, right? You know that the video is going to discuss maybe question 38. Okay, I'm going to read question 38 first, read the requirement first, and read the passage, read the case study by myself, right? By myself. And you come up with your own key point of answers. It means like you try to come out a plot of your answer by yourself, right? Don't refer to the answer, right? Don't refer to the answer. Try to come out what you think the requirement asks you to do, and what answer do you want to write uh, as if you are writing in exam. So come up with your own points. No need to write in details. You just come up with the points that you plan to write. Then only you view the video. You can view it as the third video and or the fourth video. 2 or 3 video will be okay, right? Every stage, right, actually you can adjust it according to your own pace. If let's say the first stage you think you need 4 videos to get yourself familiarized, no issue, you go for 4 videos. Then only you proceed to the next stage. Next stage, like second stage, you might need 5 videos for you to be familiarized. Then okay, you can go for 5 stage, right? Sorry, you can go for 5 videos. Okay, so when you view the videos, you see how the explanation is done compared to what you think. Do you see any differences, and why is there differences? Right? Why is there difference in terms of what uh, the video has explained and what you think? Why do you mistakenly interpret the questions? Why is that so? So you can analyze it, right? So that is the second stage. Okay. Basically, when you view the video, you see whether you analyze the requirement correctly and whether you extracted the evidence precisely. So it means like the video that you view is a checking, right? It's a checking on your own answers, and you see where is the, I mean, how far do you vary, right, from the video? Okay, then only you can decide what are you going to do next. So do you need more videos before you move to the next stage, or yeah, you are basically okay, so I view 2 or 3 videos, I can move to the next stage. So the next stage will be attempt 1 and or 2 questions by yourself. It means now we are not going to write the main point only, we are going to write the whole thing, right? The whole thing, but do not time yourself. Okay, you write the full answer, but you do not need to time yourself, because we are not at that stage yet, right? So if you are trying to time yourself, it's not to say cannot, you can try it, but one thing is at this stage, right, the timing is not the most important thing that we are going to focus now. We're going to focus on whether you can write the full answers or not. Because some students, they will experience some difficulties when they write the full answers. So during stage number 2, they are okay, they can write the key point. But when you go to stage number 3, when you ask them to write the full answer, they will have problems. Don't be surprised. So at this stage number 3, we are focusing on writing the full answer, okay, with your own points. Then only you view the video. It can be the 5th and or the 6th one, or whatever count it is, right? and mark your own answer. It means still the same. You compare whatever explained in the video with your answer. So to do the marking on your own answer, right? So that can be, again, depending on your own pace. It can be a few videos, right? It can be a few videos before you move to the next stage. And the next stage will be attempt the question under exam condition. It means now you time yourself. Okay, how to time yourself, I'll explain it later. So so you are going to attempt the questions and time yourself accordingly. Then only you view the video to mark your own answer. So the difference between the third stage and the fourth stage is the third stage you are not going to time yourself, but the fourth stage you are going to time yourself. Okay, so this is my recommended study plan. It looks very long, right? It looks like you need quite a long time to actually achieve it. But of course, when we attempt ACCA questions, in order to enjoy the result, we got to do some effort, right? We got to put in some effort. So if you plan your timetable wisely, you are supposed to be able to do this perhaps in 1 or 2 months time, right? The most 2 months time, I would say, right? So starting from now, I think it's the best timing. It's a very good timing. About 1.5 months until your December exam. So hopefully you can work on something. You are going to repeat number 4 until you feel you can master it well, and that is where you are about to be there, right? About to be there. Now, some common issues of students include the below that I'm going to tell you. But a lot of times students will tell me I have time management issue. But to me, right, time management is not an issue. It is a consequence. It must be because of something that cause you cannot manage your time well. So time management to me is a consequence. It's not the cause. You need to find out the cause that cause you not able to manage your time well. Okay, and through my study plan just now, especially in process number 2 just now, you can come out, you can detect, right? You can detect what is the cause that cause you to have time management issue. Okay. Now, when you detect the cause already, right? When you detect the cause already, these are 5 common causes. These are 5 common causes that I realized from ACCA SBL students. The first one is difficulties in understanding requirement. Students may feel it difficult to understand the requirement, doesn't know what the requirement asks us to do. So if this is the case, then what is my advice to you? You need to go through our practice kit, right? You should get your practice kit, right? You go through a practice kit, but you only focus on analyzing requirement. It means you are not going to read the case study. Now, we are not going to read the case study, but we analyze the requirement itself, what the requirement asks us to do. And you're going to do it repetitively from question 1 to question 2 to question 3 to question 4, every single one. If this is your major problem, you are going to focus on analyzing requirement only. Don't read the case study, and you analyze the requirement one by one, form your own understanding. All right. So what you can do is like this. Now, when you analyze the first one, you may have difficulties. Or when you move your first step out, right? When you actually step your first step out, right? You will have difficulties, because if this is your major problem, then of course the first one you will be like very blur. You do not know what the requirement asks you to do. So if this is the case, don't be afraid. Don't give up, right? Don't give up. This is the time where students easily you will give up, right? You will feel like, well, it's so difficult, I'm going to do it next time. But there's no next time, right? So don't give up. Go and read your answer. Right? Go and read your answer. Read the requirement. Perhaps if you want, you just glance through the case. You just glance through the case study, and then go and read your answer, and see how the answer to the requirement. Then you will know what the requirement asks you to do. So after you read the answer, please analyze the requirement again. Right? After you read the answer, please analyze the requirement again. Then you will see how the requirement is linked to answer. You will be able to understand what the requirement asks you to do. Right? And then the next day, please analyze the same requirement again. Right? Analyze the same requirement again so that you can enhance your understanding. So the first few, maybe the first 3 or 4, you can do in this way, right? You can practice in this way. But after that, please don't look at the answer. Please try to form your own understanding. Then only you check your understanding with the answer and see whether you analyze it correctly. Okay, and see whether you analyze it correctly. If you misunderstand, find out why, and we learn from the answer. If you misunderstand, don't think that, oh, I'm not going to pass SBL. No, everyone needs to go through the practice stage. So you are practicing, you are not in the exam. Luckily, we are in the practice, so we can actually correct our weakness, right? So you check the answer and see where is the difference, where is the difference, where is the gap, right? We try to close the gap. Okay, so that's the first issue that I noticed from students. And the second one is students tell me that they are very slow in reading. All right, they read the case study very slowly. So 12 to 18 pages case study, they will feel like, I read it very slowly. I take a very long time to read, so I have no time to write my answer. So this one, we have no shortcut. You have to read more, right? You have to read more. Okay, you can start with technical articles. You can also read the passages. It means the case study, right? The case study in the practice kit. When you read, right, we don't read as in, okay, read more. Can start with technical articles. We don't focus on reading the whole thing. But the most important thing is when you read a sentence, you have to understand it. So you focus on understanding the passage rather than mere reading. So of course, the first time when you do this, you say you already mentioned that you are slow, right? So of course you are slow, right? Don't force yourself. Of course you are slow, but you try to understand. Okay, you try to understand. Why do I say you need to practice to understand? It's because you need to form your habits of understanding when you are reading. Or when you're reading something, you need to form your habit of understanding it. So when this is your habit, every time whatever you read, like maybe you read newspaper, maybe you read storybooks, right? You'll be automatically you understand while you are reading. So that is how it makes the whole thing fast. Okay, that's how it makes the whole thing fast. Train your brain to understand, right? Train your brain to understand. Perhaps if you have this problem, is because all the while when you are reading, you don't really, think much on it. Right? You don't really think much on what you are reading. You just absorb. Right? You just receive, you just absorb. But you got to train your brain to understand and to find out, why is that so, or to find out a certain purpose of this case study telling you this. So of course we will practice more in our revision phase. Okay, but this is my suggestion to you if you have this issue, slow in reading. Then we have the next one. The third issue, students will tell me it is very difficult to extract the points or evidence, whereby they cannot find where is the point. They cannot find where is the evidence that can help them to answer the question. This one relatively, I think, among my students is lesser. This issue is not that much. A lot of students, they can extract the evidence, but they cannot really write the answer. That's the next one. But if you have this issue, not shameful things. Please don't think it is a shameful thing. Everyone will have our own weakness. So we got to improve it. That is what we are going to do, right? We got to, improve our understanding in order to pass the exam. That's it. Okay. So my advice to you, if you have this issue, if you have difficulties to extract the points or evidence, when you go through the practice, you read the answer. Okay. Like for example, if you go through question 8, if you are going through question 8, then when you go through question 8, you of course read the requirement and then you read the passage and then you form your own answer or anything else, right? And then after that, you read the answer, right? You read the sample answer. So when you read the sample answer, if you have this issue, when you read the sample answer, you got to make the reference from the sample answer to the passage so that you will know that particular sample answer, the point that is written, from where the source of the source of evidence is, or from where is the source of the information that is used to form the answer. So you got to make reference from the answer back to the passage. Then you see, oh, from here, actually I can get this point, and this point can be developed into this answer. So you use your highlighter. You all know you all like highlighters very much, right? Different colors, things, right? So you can now utilize your highlighters if you are using physical books, right? You can highlight the answers and highlight the key points in the passage to acknowledge that particular answer was formed based on that particular key point. So you can link these two. And of course, you need to do for a few times. You need to do this for a few times. Then only you can enhance, your ability to detect the point from the case study. And you get to do a few times, like maybe you need to do 4 to 5 cases. Then you do revision on the same question without referring to the answer, right? Let's say today you have gone through question 8. Just now we say question 8. So you have done this, right? You have done the referencing, you have done this. Tomorrow or the next week, please do the revision on the same question again. Then it can enhance your understanding. I always tell students that I don't look at the question one time only. When I was studying at CCA, I look at the question at least 3 times, right? To analyze the same question, to read the answer at least 3 times, right? That was what I do. So if you are weak in this, of course, you have to, pump in your efforts, right, to do more on this. Then, as I mentioned, the next thing that students feel very difficult to achieve. Some students are very good in extracting the points. They can get wonderful points, right? They can get plenty of points from the case study, but they do not know how to develop it as an answer. Because ACCA is like this. For SBL, whatever mentioned in the case study will be your evidence. But how will this evidence affect the company? That is what you need to write, right? How would that particular piece of information affect your company? This is what your board of directors want to know. So you got to answer to your board of directors. So you got to write your answer by developing from the evidence that you pick it out. So if you do not know how to write the answer, in appendix, I've already given you, not to say formula, but some suggestions on how you can use, right, some concepts to develop your answer. So you follow the formula, so-called formula, in appendix and train yourself question by question. So since you are weak in writing answer, you got to write more. Whatever that we are weak in, we got to focus on. That is the concept, right? That's the concept for improving, for improvement. Okay, you can even read the answer first. You can even read the answer first for this particular question. After you analyze the requirement and things like this, you read the answer first, get the main point, and then after that, close the answer, write your own answer. Right, write your own answer. Write your own answer without referring to the sample answer. The more you practice, the more you will get more familiar to write the answer. You will not have this issue of what should I write in the next sentence anymore. Right? The more you practice, the more you will get the process to be smooth. Okay. And last but not least, some students have this issue. Generally, I'm okay with everything. Okay, everything seems to be okay. As long as I'm not timed, as long as I'm not in exam condition, I can do everything perfectly. But when I'm in exam condition, I cannot do it, right? I cannot do it. I have difficulties of doing it. So generally, you are lacking of time. Generally, you cannot catch up with the time. So if this is the case, then you got to control yourself, right? You know that you have 4 hours to complete the exam. So in these 4 hours, you got to plan how much time you're going to use to read the case study and how much time you're going to use to answer the case study. Okay. Time yourself in every practice. When you are doing practice, whether you are viewing video or not viewing video, you have to time yourself. All right, time yourself to get used to the exam condition, because that is your problem, right? When you are in exam condition, you cannot do it. But when you are not in exam condition, you can do everything perfectly. So you got to make yourself familiarize with exam condition, to get used to the exam condition. It's perhaps because of time pressure that cause you not able to perform well, right? So you got to get yourself to familiarize with that kind of time pressure. You cannot make this situation to be the first happening in your real exam. That is not going to help you at all, right? So you got to do it before your real exam to familiarize yourself with the exam condition. So you calculate the time for each requirement when you are doing mock exam. I think there's a missing word when you're doing mock exam. Okay, like for example, how to calculate your time. Let's say in the 4 hours time, I 240 minutes, right? Let's say perhaps I use 90 minutes. Okay, I use 90 minutes to do the study. All right, so I read the case study using 1.5 hours. Let's see. So 1.5 hours, out of 4 hours, I have 2.5 hours to actually do my answer or to actually write my answer. So I have a total of 150 minutes for 100 marks. Okay, 150 minutes for 100 marks. So it means 1 marks I can use 1.5 minutes to answer. Right? I will use 1.5 minutes to answer 1 mark. And you multiply 1.5 multiply 1.5 to the total marks, right? You multiply the marks with the minutes, right? 1.5 minutes, then you will know how much time you have to answer a particular questions. And this is what you're going to do every time when you practice. Because if this is your problem, then you got to make yourself used to the time limit pressure. Right? You got to make yourself to get used to that pressure. Okay, so you got to time yourself every time when you are doing the practice. And the best is try to do the whole mock exam questions when you are, when you have gone through my recommended study plan just now and things like this, you feel like you are okay, I'm ready, then you got to time yourself and to do a mock exam for a few sets. Okay, that's my advice. Right now, there are some quotes to encourage you. Hopefully, that it can encourage you. Practice makes perfect. This one never fail, I guess. Right? Practice makes perfect. All right. What else? Your first time should not be the real exam. Your first time your first time of attempting the question by yourself should not be in the real exam. It is too late. Right? It's too late, and must attempt mock exam, or you must attempt mock exam, whether it's the mock exam that I'm going to give you during your revision phase or the mock exam that you attempt it by yourself. No matter how, you must attempt mock exam. And of course, you can have some other quotes like, Rome was not built in one day and things like this. So we need to put in our efforts continuously to see the result, right? No pain, no gain, right? Whatever that you can remember, to encourage yourself. So that's it. Thank you for viewing this video. Hopefully it helps you to go on with the next steps on what you're going to do after you have gone through the syllabus. And I shall see you in revision phase.